Good morning, my friends, and welcome back to 2024. Challenge me more in 24. I hope you're all having a great day. I wanted to go over just a few things here in the front before I sit down and tell you what we did for the week. One, these bougainvillea I just picked this morning, or just cut. You don't really pick a bougainvillea unless you're going to pick the blossoms off, because they are very thorny, so you carefully cut. But I wanted to show you the caladiums. This is the Fanny Munson, and this is the Dragon Heart. And those leaves, which are kind of the bloom of it, were picked last Sunday morning. So to show you how long lasting they are, I changed the water in the vase. It's just glass, but I've only changed the water on it twice, and they've stayed just as fresh as could be. Some of the things that we recycle and some of the things that I add to my worms and to my compost. I just wanted to show you that. These are shrimp shells and veggie powder that I pulverize after they've been dehydrated, and I pulverize those, and that's worm food. I also use any expired oats, and that's worm food. If I have nothing more than just eggshells and I don't have a grinder, I would grind these up with my hands and probably put it, if you don't have a rolling pin, you could take a bottle and roll it over it. You could put that in a plastic bag just to keep it from flying about and make it into a smaller particles so that it has more surface area. You can soak that in hot water, use the hot water on your plants. You can give it to your soil. You can give it to your worms, whatever you'd like to do. This is my fruit and vegetable powder that I have dehydrated. There's no shrimp shells in that. Again, I use that for worm food. And then here's what I do. My eggshells are actually washed and dried, left to dry, and then I pulverize them in a coffee bean grinder. I also have a NutriBullet, and I use it in that. So those are the things that I actually feed my worms. I also give them, if I've had rice, I rinse my rice in that, and the rice water is really very good. It's for, you can have it, you can consume it yourself if you wish. Not everybody rinses their rice, but if you do, you could use it as a spray for your plants. If you wanted to, if you have, your fresh flowers that you've put fresh water in, add a little bit of this to it, vitamin B in there, and it will keep your flowers fresh longer. But what I do is I usually just put it in my watering can. I also, and I water my plants, but if I have any liquids, like from my canned foods, then especially things like corn and peas, there's sugar in there. There's sugar in corn syrup. And I will add that to my watering can also. I also think it's very nice to take the labels off. Not only are they recyclable, but when you're putting these things out for recycling, that's one less thing that is going into the to the recycling machine. I have no idea if they rinse those off or boil them or whatever, but less is better in that case. We recycle our all of our boxes. I know I've given you this tip before, but these cereal bags are really great if you have to put something in your freezer before you put it out for trash, because once you put a clip on it, they're really airtight. And of course, the boxes break down. I think I've mentioned before that if this is safe enough for us to be handling, and your little kids are holding it, they're sucking on it, the dyes in any of this are, I would think, safe for human consumption. God knows the dogs. How many dogs have chewed a box apart and not, thrown up? I also save our toilet paper, paper towel rolls, any cardboard along those lines, popsicle sticks, any kind of dessert treat sticks, cork. Cork comes mainly from Spain and Portugal, and it takes many years for a cork tree to be thick enough that the bark can be skinned off and turned into a natural cork. Cork lasts forever. However, it's a nice lightweight alternative to heavy soil. If you want to put them in the bottom of your pots, that's it helps with drainage. It takes forever to break down. Think of a cork floor or cork placemats or anything like that. I save our emery boards. This is one that you can see it's newer, and those are ones that are really old. Yeah, I always keep one in the car, keep them in different drawers. So, you have them in different places, but it's cardboard essentially, and it will break down. You have coffee if you're a coffee drinker, tea bags if you're a tea drinker, even if you're herbal tea, you can use those leaves and recycle those. They can be recycled in your worm bin. They can be recycled in your compost pile. If you don't have that and you're raising plants, add it into your soil, add it into the top of the soil and scratch it about. Your coffee filters. Now, we used to have a Cuisinart, and this was the basket that it held. And so these were the filters. I find them just wonderful whenever I'm potting up things and I want a fresh start. And just like Goldilocks, one was too hot, one was too cold, but one was just right. Well, one is too little and 3-ply is too many, but 2-ply is just perfect in the bottom of your pot. And then you put your soil on top of it, and the water will run through, but the soil won't. And as it breaks down, the fibers that are still in there, because this is a cotton base, once the fibers break down, they almost like adhere to the bottom, and the roots kind of come and actually grow into it. And so it just kind of peels it right back. Of course, your coffee grounds, tea bags, what have you. This is the filter that we have now. And so you can see it's more like a fan shape. And I still use these. They're wonderful in my worm bins. But if you wanted to, and you wanted to just plant inside of that, terrific, just terrific. I wanted to remind people that also any of your shredded cardboard, newspapers, envelopes that don't have the little windows, if you can put it through your shredder, that's wonderful. I like to do a combination of it because then as I put it in my worm bins or my compost pile, it doesn't clump. Any of your flyers, I mean, everybody gets I would think everybody gets a grocery store flyer. That can be either used by itself, put it down right at the base of your plants outside, and put some grass clippings on top. If you don't have grass clippings and you're going to use fresh soil, put that down first, put your compost or your soil or whatever on top of it. This is about the time when we start getting new telephone books. Telephone books are wonderful because you can, rip off, we're not going to be strongman here and rip them in half, but you can rip 10, 15 ply of it, sheets of it, and use it around your plants. It will deteriorate and it will keep the weeds from growing back. So I think that was probably it, other than things like your dryer sheets. I don't use those personally, but I've had people say that they do and that it works really very well for them. When we sweep up our floors, we used to throw it away. Now we don't. We throw it in the worm bin actually. And if you're vacuuming, if you don't have a lot of, you know, synthetic carpets that you're getting all that up. But if you have like natural carpets, you could put that in your compost pile. It would break down the whatever, and the soil would go back out where it belongs. So good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Just to give it to you real quick, we had a decent week. Uh, Good old Brian, he came up and boosted us with, I think he had 42 pounds. Yep, 42 pounds. That was a good thing. Hang on just one sec. Gotta get my swallow of a dose coffee extract. It's a mushroom coffee. It's very good. It's a DOSE in case anybody wants to look them up. I've been drinking it now for about 8 months, 9 months, something like that. I like it. I think it's very effective. Anyway, we did our week. Told you everything. And this week we did 55 pounds. Woo! So we did 13, Brian broke 42. So you can see where that, when Brian takes a break, and he, usually in another month or so, he's gonna peter out on me, so to speak. So we did have 1,320, and we now have 1,375 pounds, 14.6 ounces. So that was it. I will make it kind of shorter this week if I can, and just say that I think that you can make this as hard on yourself or as simple as could be. I saw a couple in Australia that they were teaching their kids about recycling, and they went to the farmer's market, and they went to the farm, all these different stores, and they got their rice out of this jar, and they got their wheat, and everything was real natural. That's great. They're not normal. I mean, I'm sorry, they're not average. And I think the only way we're going to tilt things back is to make things common every day for the average person who has a full-time job, or they're a mom who has a full-time job and is taking care of kids, a dad who has a full-time job and is trying to run the kids. If you make this as simple as possible, as simple as, instead of throwing this in the trash, instead of even putting it out for recycling, if you're able to, and recycling is, I think, is wonderful, but it isn't always true to fact, true to the story. We hear that our all of our laundry stuff, all those containers, everything's being recycled, and in truth, a lot of the times it isn't. Something happens. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Not going to sneeze. True to fact that is that sometimes it gets in there and it clogs up the hopper, and the whole thing has to go down. I would like somebody to tell me the real true story to these things, but a lot of it is, we want to sell you this product, so don't use this. We've gotten to the point where we're using the dryer balls. They're a sheep's wool, and it dries your clothes faster. I learned along the way that if you take your dryer and you put your dryer on high, it ends up taking more time or more energy to dry your clothes, because you're drying it like a flash in the pan, and your dryer has to work extra hard, and the fibers really don't get a chance to slowly reopen. We now dry our clothes on a medium heat. That was a Martha Stewart tip, by the way, years ago, and I found, wow, this really works. Your clothes have a chance to fluff up by themselves without always using dryer sheets and what have you. if we're more, if we're smarter, uh, the word frugal was so related with cheap that many people went, well, that's not me. I don't need that. I'll just throw that away. And frugal needs to be aligned with smart, wise, um, vulpine, which is like a fox, but those words that make people say, "Oh, I want to be that," versus, "Oh, that's my old granny. I don't listen to her anymore." So, doing just simple things to turn your life around, and in the same way, try to turn the world around. We may not have the answer, but at least if we try it, at least we can say we gave it our all. So that's all I wanted to say. Recycling can be very simple. It can be as easy as, gee, my plants are dying. I'm sorry, my flowers that I have uh, aren't going to last anymore. Uh, if I have a worm bin, feed it to the worms. If I don't have a worm bin, feed it to the compost. If I don't have any of that, let them dry, let them crumble. Use the crumbles in either your pots or somewhere in the ground. Don't put it in the trash. Somewhere in the back to the soil. And if we keep putting things back to the soil, I think that we have a chance here. So have a great day, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, and I hope you'll come back and see me again next Sunday. Because I will be here. And remember, garden what you have, garden what you've got, and use what you have. Bye bye.